Hello, welcome to my presentation on developing an interactive program to support students in preparing for the English Language Proficiency Assessment of California, better known as the ELPAC. My project is also better known as the ELPAC Bootcamp. My name is Cynthia Alvarado Cervantes. So we're going to start off with the statement of the problem. So the creation of the ELPAC Bootcamp would fill the gaps and focus on the ELPAC becoming a familiar assessment so that test anxiety, other issues do not become prevalent and deteriorate morale when taking the exam. Other issues that came across was that, again, 6th, 7th, 8th graders are required to take the same assessment even though knowledge differs between grades. Another issue is that there are no accommodations for special needs students or for students have only been in the country for less than a year. Another issue is that there is a lack of curriculum for ELD teachers. ELD teachers must support their own classes, build their own curriculum, and supplement as much as they can, and also hit the 4 domains. The research question is, what are the needed components of an ELPAC bootcamp curriculum that will create an effective learning environment for emerging bilinguals? Again, what makes this bootcamp engaging? What makes this bootcamp helpful? How do I get students to return? The project overview is that there are 4 ELPAC domains, but we will only be focusing on 2 of those domains. So there are going to be 3 bootcamp sessions that focus on speaking, listening, and a combination in the third one with the interim ELPAC, which is the practice ELPAC given on that last day. The bootcamps focus on testing, engagement, speaking, and listening strategies. Again, it's to engage students in small group instruction, hopefully enough to build confidence, also enough to engage students, and hopefully they can reclassify or test into a higher level of ELD. The key learnings of the project that I found are that students are always viewed as one identity. For example, ELD students are always viewed as English learners. Even in the rosters, it appears that they are English learners, but they are not considered to be more than that. For example, a lot of English learners are identified as social economically disadvantaged or special education, but we don't consider those factors with the exam. Another key learning is that the resources for ELD teachers are limited. A lot of ELD teachers have to supplement on their own, and a lot of times is creating things from scratch. One of the questions that I asked myself throughout this project is, what is happening outside of the ELD classroom? Are teachers in other classes doing the sink or swim method, which means they are just immersing the kid in an English-only classroom, not giving them things to be translated or resources that are appropriate for them? So that's something that I learned that could be important and something that we need to speak about more. The implications of the project are that frameworks and strategies do help. Different frameworks and strategies help with designing the project, as it helped with differentiation, engagement, and made it culturally relevant. Language acquisition thrives on practice and prior knowledge. I designed the project with students in the forefront of the project. My recommendation for people who would like to try their own ELPAC bootcamp is to learn who your students are, learn what barriers your students have. I wouldn't be focusing on the speaking and listening domains if I didn't know that is where my students struggle with the most. Finding strategies and frameworks that help your students. Again, if it's engagement, if it has to do with how the ELPAC is administered, that one-on-one session, where are your kids struggling with? I would also say focus on certain ELPAC domains. Don't overwhelm your students. Focus on where they need the most support. And lastly, thank you so much.